he's here.
Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best, and today, I think my video is frozen. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, it's frozen, but we can hear you.
All right, let's see if I. Anyway, well, hopefully I can get my video back. Anyway, if not, welcome everybody to this Mother's Day edition of MJFB, where we're going to be talking about. We're going to be asking the question: how is Michael Jordan still on top? But first, before we get into that, we'll welcome the panel. First, we've got AOH up here. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day, or whatever that is.
And we've got Nick NB Sports down here.
Mavs in 5.
Nice. And then we've got Robin, who just pulled a hoop god on us, coming in last second. How are you today?
Yo, can y'all hear me out there? My people. Everybody out there in the chats, man. Shout out to everybody. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, man. For real, man. God bless every one of them. Thank you very much. Once again, let's go, guys. You guys ready? Let's roll.
Yep. All right. So let's start with AOH first. How is Michael Jordan still on top of the NBA? He hasn't played in 20 years. People still say he's the GOAT. How is this the case?
I wonder if it's related to the fatigue everybody's talking about. We talked about this on my live stream in the members section on Wednesday. There's some nostalgia. I think some people are getting tired of the complainy culture. I think some people are missing the old days when men acted like men. It doesn't even have to just be about Michael Jordan. It's about just everybody in general behaving better. Like people that you were inspired by, instead of just being disgusted by their behavior on the screen. Every other thing out of their mouth is a complaint and a whine and some form of entitlement. So it could be attached to that. Michael Jordan and all of his greatness came at a time that, generally speaking, was more pleasant to look at, in my opinion. And the other thing is that LeBron James was manufactured. I'm sure LeBron fans are going to argue against that. But Michael Jordan became what he became because of what he was doing. He was not anointed before he entered the league. He was criticized heavily in the beginning, and he simply was undeniable. His greatness was undeniable, and it continued, and it continued. And he didn't, he said a few things every now and then that weren't the best quotes, but generally speaking, he didn't get disgusted every time he opened his mouth. So that helps.
Yeah. All right, Nick. What's your take? Do you want to add on anything AOH say, or what's your take about how is Michael Jordan still on top of the NBA?
Yeah. So I did a video a while back, and I remember I kind of said this might have been like a year ago or something, but for like the next year or what have you, and when LeBron retires, I think there's going to be like a big fervor about, oh, we're seeing the greatest retire or whatever, right? There's going to be like this peak of people when he retires, right? Kind of going crazy, all the narratives. And I think maybe we're a little ahead of the curve here, but I think when that dies down and LeBron is away from the NBA for a year or something like that, I think there will be a big resurgence in the fact that Michael Jordan is actually the GOAT. And I think a lot of people, once he leaves, I think a lot of maybe even the LeBron fans, the fence sitters, people who maybe just like to watch the game or don't really have an opinion, I think they will look back and say, yeah, LeBron had an amazing run and career and all that. But in terms of the GOAT debate, I just don't think LeBron is there, right? I think that is my opinion. Once he's gone away from a year or two, I think it will be no doubt, right? We won't even be having these conversations anymore, except for maybe the more hardcore LeBron fans, that there's just no doubt that Jordan's peak and his dominance, right? That's what I've always argued, is just, it's second to none, other than possibly Russell, and Russell gets penalized a little bit for playing so early. But in terms of pure dominance, we still have just never seen anyone like Michael. And when it's all said and done, people will look at the accumulation versus the peak, right? That's always going to be the argument for LeBron. He was far superior to anything LeBron did.
What about George Mikan? Never mind. I won't even go into that. Anyway.
Shout out to Draymond Green.
and Draymond and my man Draymond. Robin, what's your take on all this? Why is Michael Jordan still on top of the NBA?
Well, listen, you guys hit a couple good points there, but there's many reasons. There's several reasons why Michael Jordan is still on top. There's not one particular reason. There's a bunch of different reasons, so we could talk about it in different ways. But, one of the things about Michael Jordan that's not really talked about much as it relates to the current players, and like my man A.O. Wade said, it's not just merely maybe Michael Jordan, but we can relate it to a lot of the players from back in the days, is the way that they spoke after the games. Sometimes people, they underestimate Michael Jordan's ability to speak in the post-game press conference, man. Hey, Dar, we did an interview, back when I first started linking up with you. We did an interview, and you asked me what was like one of the things that I really remembered about Michael Jordan that I always, liked about him. One of the things was that I said it was underrated. People don't talk about the way he spoke after games, whether he was still standing on the court soaked in sweat with the towel around his neck like he was after Game 7 of the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals. And they asked him right there on the court after he stood there and shook everyone's hand after losing in Game 7, where Scottie Pippen didn't show up. He had the migraine. Michael Jordan was on there, and he always had the right thing to say. He always took the responsibility. He always took the accountability, and he always made the team first, man. And it was all about the wins and the losses, man. So when we talk about Michael Jordan, a lot of these clips coming out now, that's part of the resurgence of a Michael Jordan's popularity. Because what's going on right now is, like I've been saying on my channel, people are standing up to the reality. So what's happening is people are saying all these things, the Nick Wrights, the Shannon Sharps, the Gilbert Arenases, the JJ Redicks. They can say whatever they want, but the video footage don't back up what they're saying. So when the young kids go back and they watch the highlights of Michael Jordan, they're blown away about what they're seeing. But it's not just the highlights. When we talk about something like the slam dunk contest, for example, this goes to Michael Jordan's greatness because, like we mentioned with the shoes, that was part of Michael Jordan's marketability. Is it the shoes, Air Jordan? So you remember the slam dunk contest. A lot of people still knock LeBron James to this day for never participating in the slam dunk contest when Michael Jordan used that to showcase his sneakers, showcase his creativity. Michael Jordan often said that going into those slam dunk contests, he never rehearsed these dunks. He never practiced these dunks beforehand. All of these things came off the top of his head, off of his creativity. He just let that stuff flow. So these are the things that led to Michael Jordan being remembered for the way that he is. When you close your eyes and think about Michael Jordan, we think about the icon that's Michael Jordan, right? You can think of so many moments, whether it's the flu game, whether it's the slam dunk contest. I just mentioned the free throw line dunks, the way he was going and flowing and moving through the air, whether it was the shot over Craig Elo in 89, the shot in 1998, the switch hand layups in 91, the shrug in 1992, the 41 points per game in 1993. Whatever it was, winning the NBA Finals on Father's Day in 1996. The iconic moments of Michael Jordan are second to none. And LeBron James, when you close your eyes and think of LeBron James' iconic moments, what do you think of? You think of what? The decision? You think of a chase down block in 2016. These are the moments that LeBron James has to hold on to. You think about him pointing at J.R. Smith in the middle of the basketball court in 2018. These are the iconic moments. The funny thing is, if you think about two of the iconic moments in NBA's history, the shot by Ray Allen, the shot by Kyrie Irving, LeBron James is the recipient of these guys' excellence, them making these great plays. Michael Jordan leading his teammates, always being known for getting the most out of his team. This goes to the icon of Michael Jordan, man. LeBron James will never come close to that.
Woo! Robin brought it. He had it all.
Yo, let's go, man. It's Mother's Day, man. Everybody once again. Let's go, man.
Hey, one thing to add on to what Robin just said with him Jordan being able to speak impromptubly right on the spot. Today's press sounds like it's scripted. It sounds like their questions are the players could plan on those questions coming, and they pretty much just suck on the players. They don't ask them anything tough, and even then the players can't have anything original or good compared to today's players in those press conferences. Yesterday's athletes looked like they were trained public speakers, and all they were athletes. These guys now are just like, "Ugh, do I have to be here?" It's so gross to look at. And what are they going to make $1 million in the next like 10 days doing what they're doing? Oh, sorry, I got a special guest here. Mother's Day. I got my son. I'm not a mother, but
Yes, sir.
Oh man.
Nice. Yeah. Now that mentioning that, it's cringe. Every once in a while, they'll try to get the NBA players to I'm losing the word, but to go and showcase something or introduce something on TV, and they look like they're 10-year-olds, like they've just been given a microphone for the first time, and it's like, dog, you're on national television, half the a good quarter of the year, and in respect to seeing all the games for the most part, and you can't even look somewhat entertaining, but you do interviews all the time. It's hilarious, but yeah, no, it gets a little cringy watching these guys just fumble through these things.
I mean, even some of the guys from back in those days, like the 90s, for example, like some of the guys that you would consider to be on the edge, Charles Barkley, some of the things that he would do and say back in those days, Dennis Rodman, they were able to do with a flair. There was a flair to it. This is, once again, why I look at someone like a Charles Barkley. He's one of the highest paid people on TV, even though he says what's on his mind, and though he kind of tiptoes the line and he crosses the line oftentimes, he's been known for doing crazy things. When the Dream Team was in Barcelona, Charles Barkley was known for walking around the streets by himself. No security, nothing, just walking the streets, man, like one of the people out there, man. And he was out there getting into things, man. But once again, he did it with the flair. Someone talked to me one time, or I made a comment about Dennis Rodman as it pertains. I made some comments about the players and how they dress these days and the way they are. And someone brought up a Dennis Rodman, the way that he would act and things of that nature. The one thing that they're forgetting about a Dennis Rodman that I wanted to educate this person on was that Dennis Rodman, when it all was said and done, was a rock star. This man was a rock star. This man could do anything that he wanted to, Dennis Rodman. He was everywhere and anywhere. He was hanging out with people like Madonna. He was hanging out with Cindy Crawford. He was hanging out with the A-list celebrities, Dennis Rodman. This dude was legit, and he was always known for giving his effort on the court. So no matter what they talked about, his outfits or the things that he did, this man brought it. These guys don't bring it like Dennis Rodman brought it, man.
Also remember that it took balls to do what Rodman did, no matter how you feel about it. And I don't even think that I was fully on board with some of his antics back then. It was so different. It was so different that, doing it when no one wants you to do it and you're going to get blasted for it back then is different than everyone now. Everyone now is just a contest of who can look the dumbest when they show up to these games, walking down the hallway. Rodman at least was one person, and it was different. At least it was only one guy. Now it's everybody's trying to be some version of some ridiculous shit.
Yeah, and like the other thing I wanted to say about one of the things I really think is going to hurt LeBron when it's all said and done is the fact that he did have so much control over his career for all of it, right? He made those decisions, right? He made so many decisions back to back to back to back where who's the coach? Who do I play with? Where do I go? What's the all these kinds of things. And it would be one thing had he won 6 rings or won, as many MVPs and awards and everything as Jordan, right? It would be one thing to be like, well, at least he did that and he got to those same accomplishments, right? But he didn't. And I think that's also going to really hurt his legacy in terms of you had so much influence and control over what your environment was and you still didn't get there. Like it's just kind of hard. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to look at that and be like, yeah, you're on the same level as Jordan. I don't think so. I don't see it.
No, you're running the money, Nick. When you think about Michael Jordan's staying power, the meaning of what we're talking about today, man, it's really crazy when you think about all the people all around the world that still support Michael Jordan, the people who wear his sneakers, the kids who don't even know who Michael Jordan is. They know about him through their parents, their grandparents, things of that nature. It's incredible, but it's only due to Michael Jordan's on-court game and what he's remembered for. And remember, he always earned the respect of the people, man. Michael Jordan was a people's champ, man. There were a lot of players in NBA's history that you can consider people's champs, man, because they earned the respect of the people. They were respected. To me, LeBron James, for me, doesn't have the respect overall of a Michael Jordan. So when you talk about the effort on the court, this is what Michael Jordan was known for, the competitive fire of Michael Jordan. We don't only just talk about the numbers with Michael Jordan or the accolades. That's not what makes Michael Jordan the greatest player of all time. That's not what makes him the standard. When you think about other players in NBA's history, man, and you think about other sports, it's Michael Jordan who they're compared to. People can say whatever they want about, Michael Jordan fans and we're overhyping Michael Jordan. No, these are the facts, man. This is why Michael Jordan is remembered the way he is, because he's always the standard. He always carried himself with the love of the game, man. Remember, Michael Jordan had a love of the game clause in his contract. LeBron James has a no trade clause in his contract. These are the kinds of things that he's concerned about. And Michael Jordan, still to this day, does not promote himself through any social media. When was the last time you saw Michael Jordan doing a TikTok video? Or you saw Michael Jordan on a podcast, with J.J. Redick or Gilbert Arenas or some fool like that? You don't see Michael Jordan show up on ESPN and break down a game and do some analysis. You don't see this dude like that. He's like a myth out there, man. He's like the Sasquatch, man. When you see him, everybody's like, oh, damn, I saw Michael Jordan. LeBron James pops up. They're booing this man. They're literally booing him. So you think they're going to remember him like Michael Jordan? No way.
It was, I think it's also right of Jordan to step away like that and let the next generation kind of come in without a shadow, right, over them. I know he coached the Hornets, but he really wasn't like a Mark Cuban or anything, right? That's one thing I worry about LeBron. I kind of wanted to ask this on the one where he asked if he should retire. Maybe we can do this at the end or something. But what is LeBron going to do for like the 5 years after he leaves the NBA? I'm a little worried he's going to still be in the ear of like a lot of media and players and coaches, and he's going to still be kind of like influencing and pulling the strings and putting out political messages or what have you, right? And I'm a little worried he's not just going to give the next group of guys their time in the sun, right?
Of course he's not.
Well,
yeah.
Well, this is something that I wanted to talk about. But first, I don't know why AOH is saying it's me with the Roosters. He's a scientist. His actual production part is behind a zoo somewhere. So it's these roosters that are it's blame him. Don't blame me. No,
I would never imprison animals.
But no. What I wanted to talk about for how is Michael Jordan still on top? I think the elephant in the room is, and it's been said largely, is that he's never not been on top. So you got to think about what they've been doing over the years since he left. They tried to make Kobe the GOAT after that. And then what happened after that? It dissipated. It went away. They brought the new guy in of LeBron James, trying to sell that he's the GOAT. Now, over the last couple weeks, you go and you hear these guys kind of walking that stuff back. They're saying, oh, well, he's hanging around. It's really ruining his legacy. So I'm just waiting for them to bring the next guy in. Is it going to be Wembanyama? Is it going to be Edwards, who they're talking about now? Who's going to be the next GOAT? At bottom line, in my opinion, is that he's the reason why he's on top is because nobody's ever taken him down from that spot, period. And the aspect of it is that there's just been these false narratives propping these guys up to include LeBron, and it's already going away as he's reaching the end of his career. That narrative is falling apart because it's not true.
You're both right. And Dart, the NBA does seem like they will move on and try to sell us somebody else. But to Nick's point, LeBron is a dangerous combination of things. He's an insecure person with a monstrous ego and a shitload of power and money. He's not going away, and it's going to be ugly. Even if the NBA wants him to go away, I mean, good Lord, he's got enough money to launch his own broadcasts.
He could buy ESPN if he probably wanted to.
He could start his own ESPN, whatever.
Yeah.
We have well, we have the roosters and chickens, but there's also a super chat for $5 to AOH. You need to create a documentary of LeBron choking in the finals. You can call it the Brickfist of Champions. What do you have to say about that?
I agree. There's a lot of things I need to do. That's one of the pluses of him retiring is finally having a chance to work on some of these other things. I have at least started.
I gotta constantly mute this. Sorry.
So I have done some of his finals. So if you haven't found those videos, I'll make a playlist to make it easier to find them. But he has so many failures and so many meltdowns. It's interesting that I have to break it into sections and not it just be one film. Again, these guys who come in and want to say, oh, well, Jordan messed up. I'm like, okay, put together your compilation video of how terrible Michael Jordan was. We're all still waiting. In the meantime, it's going to take me the next 3 years just to get through the last 5 years of LeBron James.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about a myriad of things of how Michael Jordan is still on top. What is something, let's say it's Ant Edwards or the next guy, how would they be able to top Michael Jordan in respect of being considered the greatest of all time? Or is there any reasonable way that you could see it happening? Or do you think that Michael Jordan was just the perfect guy in the perfect place at the perfect time? AOH.
This sounds almost obsessive, but the more you think about it, he was just about perfect. He wasn't too tall to where him dunking looked boring. He was small enough that it was inspiring to see him defeat people bigger than him. He wasn't so big that you would be grossed out if he took advantage of a smaller player. He was good looking. He was articulate. He came from a family background that a lot of people can appreciate, just hardworking disciplinarian family. It doesn't always have to be a sob story. People seem so attracted to the sob story these days. It's almost like it's a knock against Jordan that he didn't come from a single parent household or a no parent household or one of those situations. He actually had people confused about his physical ability. He looked like he was flying. I mean, you really were like, how is he still moving toward the rim? Now, I know other guys can jump high, but it just doesn't look the same. And LeBron James is a big man and he has a decent jumping ability. Never, ever, never looks the way Michael Jordan jumping toward the rim did. Even if it's a powerful slam by LeBron James, it's almost the exact same shit every time. And the dunk's over almost as soon as it started. That's very different than how Michael Jordan floated toward that rim, just making us say, what in the hell are we looking at? How many people have ever done that? How many people have ever done that to where the audience is just like, what in the hell did I just see? Not many athletes can ever claim to have caused a reaction like that. So pretty hard for anyone to come along and defeat the combination of things that Michael Jordan had. And whether he has an ego or not, he's got to have some sort of an ego. He was capable of keeping it in check. And as time was going on and everyone was calling him the GOAT, he didn't suffer through him starting to talk about himself and self-glorification. That's a sign of a secure person. So he didn't do many things to damage his legacy either. Obviously, people that hate on Michael Jordan want to talk about his ownership, his failures as a businessman. And in fact, Nick Wright, I think it's interesting. I started a video and never finished it, where Nick Wright talks about how LeBron James can't hurt his legacy. And this was a few years ago. You know why he was saying it? Because LeBron James was just playing like complete ass, just complete ass. And the Lakers were shambles. And of course, everyone's coming out with, oh, well, he can't do anything to hurt his legacy. Now, here you have Kendrick Perkins saying LeBron better retire so he doesn't hurt his legacy. So these guys need to get their stories straight. But isn't it interesting that someone like Nick Wright actually criticized Michael Jordan's business ventures and said that hurt his legacy? How interesting that what Michael Jordan does not playing basketball can hurt his legacy, but LeBron James playing poorly and missing the playoffs while he's still playing basketball can't hurt his legacy. It's just so much BS. And Michael Jordan doesn't require the BS for us to buy the story. It's not necessary.
Absolutely. What do you got to say about that, Nick? And then is there any way that anybody else could get on top versus Michael Jordan?
Of course it's possible, right? I think one thing, so if we have to, so no one currently, right, if we're going to say right now is playing or is kind of into their career, I don't think we see anybody coming up per se. But if we start from here and we look forward, first of all, finding a good two-way player in today's NBA is going to be a little hard. One that's so dominant on the offensive and defensive end, that's going to be a little hard to find. But if I can use an example, if you look at someone like Luka, right, it's going to have to be someone on a pace like that, coming out and essentially in his second year, averaging triple doubles, across the board. Obviously, Luka doesn't have the hardware yet. That's what's holding him back, and he needs to win, obviously. And I don't think Luka's even on a trajectory to catch Jordan per se. But it will have to be some kind of triple-double, two-way guy who gets on an incredible trajectory from year 1 or 2 and maybe gets lucky on a good team here or there, and he's got to win at least 6 rings, right? But is it possible? I mean, yes, it's possible, but that would be the bar, I think. A two-way triple-double player who wins at least 6 rings. I think you have to maybe start there. And when are we going to get someone like that? I don't know. That's a diamond in the rough right there. So, I don't see it, but is it possible? Of course. As KG once said, anything is possible. But yeah, of course it's possible, right? And that's what's exciting is who is the next guy, right? That's why they sell it to you, because if you think from day one you're watching the next Jordan, it gets people to keep their eyeballs on the screen, right? And once people fall for that guy, then they'll move on to the next one, and people will get all excited, and then same, just repeat, rinse and repeat, right? So,
absolutely. We got a super chat that came in from Cash, ironically, for AOH, I believe. Please, say who you're super chatting. For $4.99 US, Cash says, give it time. LeBron's legacy is going to crash hard and won't live up to the criticism. What do you have to say about that, AOH?
I hope you're right. I mean, given time, I'm sure you're right. I just think it's gross that we have to suffer through all the lies, and and a lot of resources are being spent on telling these lies. It's not just innocent lies. It's like money that could be spent on better things, whether that's improving the NBA or improving the world, and it's being spent to push a lie. I mean, that's pretty gross by itself. But we subconsciously, and Robin has already talked about this, I think, on his channel, subconsciously, it's pretty clear that people don't think LeBron is the GOAT. Somewhere along the road, you would have started comparing, oh, is this guy going to be the next LeBron? What that would mean is, oh, is this guy going to be the next person who can accumulate stats via longevity? That's not what people here are impressed with, clearly, because when you look at Anthony Edwards and the praise that Anthony Edwards gets, and him not being compared to LeBron James and being compared to Michael Jordan, you're not thinking, oh, what kind of longevity stats will Anthony Edwards be able to achieve? You're thinking about his style of play.
I got these roosters just being loud. On a sidebar, my wife feeds these things, so they now follow me for some reason. But it is what it is. Anyway,
there is man.
This should just be known as the Rooster Show. Anyway, There's another super chat that came in from Lori Suichiro. Excuse me if I butchered your name. For 125 Filipino, I don't whatever currency. MJ's legacy is influencing people like Kobe, T-Mac, etc. And because it intertwines with Kobe's, it expands the history of the game. I believe that's also for you, AOH. You want to comment on that?
What was it?
PHP is the Philippine peso, by the way.
Peso. I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to because I didn't know. But
I love when people send in foreign currencies and we got to look them up.
Yeah.
Thank you for the peso. What? I'm sorry. What was the question?
It's more of a statement, but it says MJ's legacy is influencing people like Kobe, T-Mac, etc. And because it intertwines with Kobe's, it expands the history of the game.
Oh yeah, clearly. Again, another example. I don't know how many players, if anyone has said, "Oh, look at this guy. He reminds me of a young LeBron James. He must have studied LeBron's game film." I mean, you pretty much nailed it with your comment. I don't have to add very much more, but thank you for the super chat.
Also, another super chat for AOH, and then one more after this as of right now, and we'll keep it going. It's targeted for Robin. Again, Robin has had an issue with his channel, but he has a PayPal if you want to donate to him. But this is, I think this is going to AOH, but it's targeted for Robin. For $5 US. It says, "I love your work and energy, man. You're doing God's work. If LeBron replaces MJ on the Bulls' 6 finals team, what is Bron's record in your opinion?" What do you have to say about that, Robin?
Yo, shout out to Gary, man. He's been a supporter of my channel, man, for a while now. So shout out to Gary. Thank you very much. Yes, once again, man, you guys know the deal, man. You put LeBron James on the Chicago Bulls for those championship runs. I just don't know if the Bulls are going to able to. I mean, listen, I can't have all the time to break down every single one, but I would be surprised if they won any of them. See, a lot of people believe that the Chicago Bulls were the most dominant team by far and that they had no opposition in the finals. Their competition was weak, and this is why Michael Jordan was 6-0. No, if you go through each and every finals, what you'll realize is that Michael Jordan beat each and every finals opponent at their own game. For example, you think about 1991. He out Magic Johnson in the NBA Finals. He did, guys. Go check it out. In 1992, everyone going into that was saying Clyde Drexler was a better three-point shooter than Michael Jordan. So what did Michael Jordan do? He proceeded to out Clyde Drexler by a barrage of three-pointers in 1992. We all know about that. You think about 1993, he out the Phoenix Suns. They were the number one scoring offense in the NBA that season. So what did Michael Jordan do? He said, "I'll one-up you," and averaged 41 points a game in the NBA Finals. A lot of people don't realize the Chicago Bulls and the Phoenix Suns in that finals both scored the same amount of points, the identical amount of points. That's how close that finals was. A lot of people don't realize what was the difference. Michael Jordan's 41 points a game. We think about 1996, right? The hustle. He out-hustled Gary Payton. That's what he did. 97, 98, they out-executed the execution of John Stockton and Karl Malone in those two finals. Michael Jordan sealing the deal the way he did it, man. So LeBron James 0-6.
Oh, Robin, you deserve your own syndicated show.
We're working on that. We just got to continue to set the record straight.
Yeah, we'll all be on national TV together in a couple of years. So we're
all going together, man. We're all hand in hand here.
We got from William Gammon a super chat for AOH for $20 US. It says, "AOH, thanks for putting such a great group of people together on this podcast. Always a fan. Keep the truth alive, guys. Keep on doing the good work, and us fans will keep on supporting you."
I appreciate the super chat very, very much. Dart gets the credit for putting this together. And the subscribers, the fans, you guys get credit for me becoming aware of some of the other channels. A lot of times I'm so busy editing that it wasn't until in the comments that someone say, "Oh man, you're my favorite channel, plus this guy or that guy and the other guy." And so, that's how I actually came to learn about some of the other channels. And I tried to reach out to some of them and set up a few things, but Dart was already there doing some live streaming. So credit to Dart on that one.
Word.
Absolutely. And on a sidebar,
All right, let me be LeBron. Sorry, let me be LeBron James. Oh yeah, man, that was all me. I actually had this idea back in the 80s.
We could have had more numbers, but I didn't get enough help.
Yeah. Look at me surrounded by these minimums.
Minimums as peasants.
On a sidebar, the return of Uncommon Sense should be happening soon. I talked to him recently, and he said that there's a good chance he'll be able to come next week.
Hey, I want to talk about something he said later. Remind me. You keep doing what you're going to do, but please remind me.
All right, we've been detracting from the actual show for a little bit, so because of all these super chats, which again is a great problem to have. But here's another one for AOH super chat. The Roosters just sound like all the fanboys out there. Shout out to everyone on the panel. Oh, and happy Mother's Day to LeBron. He's a B-yutch.
Those Roosters sound more intelligent than LeBron fans.
Yeah. They're just screaming 40,000 points in 21 years. That's what they're saying in English. I forget.
I wanted to real quick, that guy who mentioned LeBron's legacy kind of as time goes. I don't know if he will destroy it, but one way he will destroy it or can destroy it in terms of really kind of crashing his stock, if you want to see it that way, is if he really starts to get politically involved. I know that's just such a divisive thing right now, and he likes to do that. I could see that if he, again, you're putting yourself out there, it's easy to misspeak, say something out of context or whatever, or you could just be wrong. But even if he's right, it's just such a sticky thing to walk through. That would be one way I could see his stock really plummeting in terms of the eyes of some people who maybe are on the fence or like him now. But I don't think his legacy's going to get trashed unless he goes down that route and goes really hard into it, leans into it. But I just think the GOAT conversation, that's one that will definitely die down, I think, for a couple of years after he retires.
For the first few years, he might be able to tap into the woe was me culture and put out some things about him being scrutinized and what he had to overcome. I don't know when that's going to die out. It's like been front and center on TV shows and movies and sports lately. Are we ever going to get tired of these fucking shows about just people sobbing about their lives? But LeBron James probably has a couple of years in which he could just put out some documentaries that are sob stories and make money on them.
Yeah, I mean, hearing billionaires complain right now is not a good time to be doing that. So
he should work for Little Lifetime or start his own Little Lifetime television for LeBron fans. Real fast, and then I know we haven't even gotten to Robin yet on if there's, or I don't think we did, of is there any way that anyone can top Michael Jordan? But let's do the super chat real fast. Gary super chats. AOH for $5 She says, salute my babe brother. You the GOAT. Keep doing God's work. Also, what's Robin's PayPal? AOH, can you make a doc one day? Your breakdowns are great.
Thank you very much for the super chats. Very, very much appreciate the support. Like Robin's been having problems with YouTube, and most of my videos, even the ones that you guys can see, they're declaring not worthy of monetization. So you guys with your little supports are very needed. And Robin's PayPal. Well, I don't want to give away his information, but I think I know what it is, or maybe that's Hoop God. Robin, you want to chime in?
If anybody wants to donate, man, like I said, guys, that's not what I'm about on my channel, man. It's never been about that for me, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's in the description of my channel. The link is there. All you gotta do is click on the link, man. So much respect. Thank you.
So Robin, is there just to go back to the topic of the stream, is there anything that anyone can do to top Michael Jordan, to be on top, to be the new GOAT per se?
I want to go back and say talk about some of the things AOH mentioned a good point about Michael Jordan's size, the size of Michael Jordan, and how people can relate, or when you watch him dunk the basketball, the way he moves the court. And I want to put it into perspective a little bit. You know, when people look at Steph Curry, right? We talk about how Steph Curry is frail and he's diminutive, right? Steph Curry's like 6'3", 195 pounds, 190 pounds. What I want a lot of people to remember is when Michael Jordan came into the NBA, he was 6'6", 190 pounds. So essentially, you had Michael Jordan at about 2 or 3 inches taller than Steph Curry, weighing the same as Steph Curry does in the NBA, doing what he was doing as a rookie in an NBA with legit big men, the physical defense of the NBA, guys pushing you around, beating you up. This is why when you hear Michael Jordan say, I had to go and exercise, train, lift weights to get stronger, the man was 190 pounds coming into the NBA. So we must keep these things into context. This is what impressed people about Michael Jordan, things he was doing at that size. So you're around the money when you talk about that AOH, you know, a Michael Jordan size and things like that. When we talk about, Nick said something, you talked about the popularity and what someone would have to do coming in, man. And, you know, all these things, what it would take, because Michael Jordan came in at the right time. Michael Jordan came in at the right time of the 90s, the crossover, everything that was going on, right? That was a big time in culture, the 90s. So Michael Jordan coming in at that time, right? Taking the game global. We think about the Dream Team in 1992. All of these things lead to Michael Jordan's personality. You know, when people talk about, oh, I have this player as the greatest of all time, or, you know, I have this player as the greatest of all time. I saw some people in the comments say something about Kobe Bryant and some of the other players. I saw someone mention Will Chamberlain. See, the one thing that people forget about Michael Jordan, and AOH, you said something about Michael Jordan basically being damn near perfect. And that's basically true, but that's not an over-exaggeration of Michael Jordan. We're not saying that Michael Jordan never turned the ball over. Michael Jordan never missed a shot. He never missed a game winner. The Chicago Bulls never lost the game. No, we're not saying those things. What you're talking about is Michael Jordan's overall game, the overall demeanor, his aura, all the things that encompass Michael Jordan. Like I mentioned earlier, it wasn't about just the numbers, but Michael Jordan has the numbers, right? It wasn't just about the accolades, but Michael Jordan has the accolades. But the things that differentiate from Michael Jordan from a lot of other players are the things like what? The mentality of Michael Jordan that someone like a Will Chamberlain didn't really have. The overall game that Will Chamberlain didn't really have. He had a free throw liability, things of that nature, right? So when we think about these things, sometimes players don't have what? The athleticism of a Michael Jordan. You think about it, Larry Bird. Larry Bird had the grit, the heart. He had the game, right? But he didn't have the athleticism of a Michael Jordan, right? So there's a lot of players that have a lot of things. We think about even a Kobe Bryant, who many people would consider the closest to Michael Jordan. But Kobe Bryant was nowhere near the athlete of Michael Jordan, guys. He was not. And when we think about the precision, the excellence of Michael Jordan, the durability of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant didn't have the durability of Michael Jordan, guys. That's another factor of Michael Jordan that people don't recognize or stay sleep on. Playing 82 games that many times, giving the effort on both ends of the court. So when you talk about someone trying to replace that, it's really going to be hard because Michael Jordan did everything very, very good. He spoke well, like we mentioned earlier. He played both sides of the ball, like Nick was talking about. He was a great leader. He was a true professional. AOH mentioned earlier, he was a grown man. So he gave off that energy. He was a man's man. You respected everything about him. Remember, this is the same Michael Jordan that was left at the airport as a rookie, guys. Left at the airport. So when we think about all those things, man, this goes to the story of Michael Jordan, man. It's just one of those storybook things, man. And I don't think anybody will ever be able to duplicate that.
Yeah, the picture perfect moments of Jordan are going to be, like you were mentioning at the beginning, that stuff's going to be really hard to top. Just the moments of Jordan, right? And real quick on the dunking thing too, this is something I've thought but I've never said about Jordan was a horizontal dunker. I know that maybe doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But when you think about guys dunking, a lot of them, they just try to get up as high as possible and come back down. Jordan attacked the rim when he dunked, right? This is the best way I can put it.
That's a great point, Nick.
Yeah, he was horizontal. He would beat you to the spot, and then it was off, and he had already beaten you. So instead of jumping up, and if you jump up, there is a possibility someone could recover if you're up there too long. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but he'd get to a spot, and it was to the rim. It wasn't up and over someone. He was trying to get to the rim as fast as possible. And I think kind of goes with what you guys were saying.
That's the flying motion. He beat him with the first step, and he left the ground, but then he was continuing forward despite having left the ground.
Think about how when Dr. J did the free throw line dunk versus Jordan, Dr. J, you just see the fro. Everything is above the rim. His hand is all the way outreached. And Jordan, you think about it, he's kind of compact and he's reaching. You know, he's not. It doesn't feel as vertical. It feels like he's soaring. You know, like he's soaring and reaching for the rim.
Yo, I want to say something real quick, dog. Hold on. Real quick. Someone said something. I was disrespecting Will Chamberlain in the comments. I was not I have Will Chamberlain ranked number 2 on my all-time top 10 list. So I'm not disrespecting Will Chamberlain. What I'm pointing to is the weakness of his game, something that you could point to that you could say Will Chamberlain wasn't that great at. He wasn't known for his leadership like a Michael Jordan. And like I mentioned, the free throw shooting of a Will Chamberlain could be seen as a weakness of his game. That's all I was saying. And someone mentioned Kobe Bryant being a greater athlete than Michael Jordan. That's completely false. Listen, Kobe Bryant's a great athlete. We're not talking about Kobe Bryant compared to me or Kobe Bryant compared to your guy down at the local gym. I'm talking about Kobe Bryant compared to Michael Jordan. He's not a greater athlete. Kobe Bryant's first step is nowhere like Michael Jordan's. He's called the Black Cat for a reason, guys. The first step of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant can't touch that. It's probably the quickest first step in NBA's history. If you think about Michael Jordan's hand size compared to Kobe Bryant, it's nowhere close to these things. Michael Jordan's wingspan is longer than Kobe Bryant's. This all goes to his athleticism and Michael Jordan's leaping ability that Nick was just mentioning. Kobe Bryant's not greater than. So that's not a knock on Kobe Bryant. Those are the facts of the matter. He is not a greater athlete than Michael Jordan. He never was, never will be. Michael Jordan, as far as basketball is related, is probably, if not the greatest athlete, one of the greatest athletes to play basketball. We all know Will Chamberlain could play many sports, the Bill Russells, the other great athletes in the history of the game. But as far as playing basketball, Michael Jordan was built to play basketball. Look at his body, the way that he moved on the court. No one moved like this man. Nick, you mentioned the vertical, the horizontal flying. This goes to Michael Jordan's athleticism, the way that he was able to manipulate his body in the air while other players are falling backwards, coming down. He's still able to move other hands and manipulate angles that no one's really been able to master that way, man.
Yeah, does anyone think Kobe can dunk from the free throw line? I don't think so. He could probably get close. I don't know, maybe, but I've never seen it.
I can't believe you left me out of there. I'm one of the most athletic men. I should be compared. We have some more super chats that came in. Williams, he had super chatted me, but it's a question directed for Robin. And again, please for his PayPal, I believe it's on the on his YouTube channel. Please, if you want to donate to him that way. But it's for Robin. Do you believe that LeBron is scared to retire because he knows his longevity is his legacy?
Yeah, absolutely. LeBron James is trying to do essentially what Tom Brady was doing, which is hanging around a little bit too long, right? And we see what has cost Tom Brady when you look at his overall life, things that he's kind of cost him, his personal life, things of that nature. The difference between Tom Brady and LeBron James is Tom Brady was hanging out around, still winning, though. He was still winning, and he was still playing at a high level and still being respected. You still respected Tom Brady on the football field. You didn't want to be in a tight game with Tom Brady on the other side. You were worried about those things. I don't give a damn if LeBron James on the other side of the basketball court and he's shooting a shot with 3 seconds to go. He can add that shot because you know he probably ain't going to make it. Tom Brady at least was hanging around and being relevant. He was winning. LeBron James is actually hurting his legacy where Tom Brady didn't do those things. But Tom Brady couldn't walk away from the fame either. LeBron James cannot walk away from the fame. He can't walk away from the spotlight. He wants max money, even though he doesn't give the max effort. And absolutely, you're right on the money. If he walks away, he knows that, see, this is what's happening right now. It's already happening. The things, and look at all the media members now. They're backpedaling. These people, because they sold their integrity so long ago, the Kendrick Perkins of the world, they don't have a leg to stand on now. Now, what did you see Kendrick Perkins say the other day? You guys mentioned it. He wants LeBron James to retire because he's hurting his GOAT case. Think about how embarrassing that is. You want the guy you consider the GOAT to retire because he's playing so badly and still embarrassing himself that you want him to retire? Oh, man, it's a joke, man. LeBron James knows, man. It's all coming to an end because everything has been the media lies and narratives.
Hey, how much money does somebody need? How much does their ego need to be stroked? I'm so sick of hearing about LeBron as the family man when he doesn't want to go home to his family. And this whole shit, he said he felt like he was doing a bit, like he was in prison when he went to the bubble. You lying sack of shit. If it was that hard on you, fucking retire and go be with your family.
Oh, man. Yo, you right.
That was a good super chat, though, because I kind of thought about that too. It's like his whole shtick now is being the oldest or longest playing ever, right? That's like his whole thing. So yeah, he's kind of, what do I do here? I don't think I have the ultimate legacy to beat Jordan, but maybe the only way is if I play 4 more years or something and just put up such ridiculous accumulative totals that maybe my argument's improved, but I don't think it will.
Got another super chat that came in from Pierre Lynch for $5 US. Thank you, sir. It says, Dart, Jason on here saying, what's the all-time great team Jordan beat? Dart, anyone in the panel can answer that. To me, the Bulls were the all-team. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to say that the Bulls were the best, well, first off, thank you. But, yeah, the Bulls were the best, obviously, because they won all those times. But for the opponents that he played, I think one team that is wildly underrated as of recent years is that Utah Jazz team. They went to, I think, 3 or 4 Eastern Conference finals. Obviously, the 2 Western Conference finals, and they went to the 2 finals, obviously, but they could have went 3 times in a row. They had it in, just on paper, they had, as of now, the 3rd highest scorer of all time, the highest assist and steals for a career of all time. And arguably the greatest pick and roll tandem of all time, and let alone just that team in general had great record. It wasn't a fluke that they kept coming back, but people just forget how great they were.
Listen,
and who they went through, who they had to go through every year.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, do y'all want to add more? You want to add something, Robin?
Yeah, absolutely. I have something to add on to that because once again, we must continue to educate these fools out here, man. Once again, I grew up watching this stuff in the 80s and the 90s, man. I remember a lot of this stuff. And what they see, let's take it a step further here. They talk about who are the great teams that the Bulls won. All you're doing is highlighting Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls' greatness. The other teams you don't think of because Michael Jordan and the Bulls dominated his era. So all you're doing is highlighting the greatness of their teams. But I want them to answer this. You name me a team better than the 2-time champion Detroit Pistons that the Chicago Bulls beat in 1991 Eastern Conference Finals. You name me one team that LeBron James beat in the Eastern Conference better than that team. You name me a team that LeBron James beat in the Eastern Conference better than the 1993 New York Knicks. Name me a team better in the Eastern Conference that LeBron James beat better than the 1996 Orlando Magic. Name me any of these players. Who was he going against? Paul George, Roy Hibbert in the Indiana Pacers, Carmelo Anthony in the New York Knicks, DeMar DeRozan in the Chicago Bulls. DeMar DeRozan in the Toronto Raptors with Kyle Lowry. It's an absolute joke. Michael Jordan was going against Charles Barkley Sixers. He was going against Isaiah Thomas, the 2-time back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, Dennis Rodman, the back-to-back champions. LeBron James never beat a back-to-back champion, man. Ever, man, in his career. Michael Jordan, the Bulls beat back-to-back champions, man, in the Eastern Conference, not even the NBA Finals. So when they talk about the NBA Finals, the reason you don't think about the 1993 Phoenix Suns is because Michael Jordan averaged 41 points a game and beat them dudes. That's why. The reason you don't think about the Seattle Supersonics, who won 60 games plus in the 90s, multiple times in the 90s. The reason you don't remember them is because the Bulls beat them. And they were also going against teams like Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets, David Robinson's Spurs, Portland Trailblazers led by Clyde Drexler and Terry Porter. It's an absolute laughingstock when these people try to bring up the competition. Now, let's think about LeBron James for a quick second here. Who did he actually beat in the NBA Finals? I want someone to tell me a great team that they beat. The 2012 Oklahoma City Thunder with Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. All of those guys have been exposed over the last several seasons as being fraudulent, not being what they want you to believe that they are. So I'm not impressed with that win. Then who did he beat? The 2013 Spurs. How did he win that series? How did he win it? Right? I'm pretty sure that he got bailed out. Yes, it went to a game 7, but there is no game 7 without Ray Allen, man. So let's be real here. They barely won that. And that was the same series that LeBron James was making the face like, oh, man, Kawhi Leonard's checking back into the game because LeBron James is a true competitor. So once again, who was the great team they beat? The 2016 Golden State Warriors that were down 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals that blew a lead, that Kevin Durant, the frozen guy was just talking about, blew a lead. So once again, they don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, when I did that video, I went through and compared the winning records and all the All-Stars and everything that they played against. And yeah, Jordan had in terms of team wins, and the All-Stars were about the same, but in terms of team wins, like the good teams they played against, it's really not even close. I mean, the year that they played Oklahoma City too, they were like a 4 seed. They won like 44 games or something like that. So yeah, there was a few times he played some really easy competition compared to Jordan.
There's some dude in the comments just said that Isaiah Thomas was hurt in 1991. Oh, so Larry Bird wasn't hurt in 1989 when the Pistons beat the Celtics? Oh, so Draymond Green didn't get suspended in 2016 when LeBron James and the Cavaliers won. See what I'm saying? You guys don't understand. You guys are not consistent. This is why we must continue to educate you fools. You guys are all over the place. You guys can never stay on the same page. You want to bring up injuries and some nonsense? Isaiah Thomas was on the court. If you remember, going into Game 3 of that Eastern Conference Finals, down 2-0, Isaiah Thomas said, going back to Detroit, that was going to be the hardest game the Chicago Bulls were ever going to play in their lives because they were not going to get swept by Chicago Bulls. So he was so hurt, but he had time to proclaim that going into Game 3. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You guys listen to a bunch of nonsense. This is why you guys have no videos on your channels. This is why I call you fools out. Jason the Kid or whatever the hell you are. I'm calling you out. I dare you. Put your face on camera. Make a video. Tag me in it, man, and explain it. I would love to hear it. You guys will never do that because all of the LeBron James fans are a bunch of fools that believe the hype. That's not reality. You guys are caught in the Matrix, man. We got to pull the plug on you fools.
Robin, you have to stop acknowledging these people. But
this is what I do, AOH. This is why I'm here, man. This is why I'm here. You know what you do, and you're great at what you do. You give the visual, and I'm going to give the audio.
Well, it's funny because before you even said that and you mentioned that guy, when you brought up the Pistons, I already knew what these morons who only repeat what other people have said were going to do. I was like, I almost said, oh, someone's going to mention that the Pistons were old. Whether they were or not, they don't know. But isn't that one of the narratives that has been fed to LeBron fans? Oh, Jordan couldn't beat the Pistons until they were old. I mean, they always have some sort of moronic way out. And then, of course, sure enough, as anticipated, you guys are just too easy to anticipate. Can you come up with an original thought that is based on you watching these games and being like, see, there's the flaw in Jordan's game? No, you go and you watch Jordan and you're like, I don't want to look at this anymore. I don't want to look at this anymore.
Real fast for all the detractors that are in the comments section, and for the people that don't know, and Jason the Kid, you're welcome to join. I'm having a debate league where you're able to win an MJFB title belt, and you can come on here and flaunt it around if you win and say, well, I'm better than all you Jordanites or whatever you want to call us. You have the opportunity, and Robin said that he was going to do it. So there's a way to do it to match up against him. But either way, if you have the courage of your conviction, come on to the debate tournament, and then you have the opportunity to win a belt, no money down, and it'll just be wildly entertaining for the people that just want to watch otherwise. But if you really want to debate some of us, here's your opportunity. Join a debate league. You got until next Sunday to join. But real fast, JP the Tech super chatted
$100.
AOH. It's not $100. It's $99.99.
You shitting me? You shitting me? $100?
You got a cool $100 super chat, AOH.
God damn!
Wow.
JP the Tech.
I don't even know what to.
Very cool.
I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what to say to that. I don't take praise very well. Or what did that fucking idiot LeBron say? JP the Tech without even a comment. Wow. Hey, you know what? This gave me an idea. Those of you who can afford to donate, that would go a long way toward actually sitting down and editing a film that people want done, because time is money and I have to do other things to actually pay the bills. But what an interesting concept. I wonder if I should do a fundraiser to get a short film made about it. But
that's an idea. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. Wow. Thank you for that very generous donation.
Cool. Also, another super chat came in for you, AOH. LeBron has been hiding from responsibility his entire career. That's why he's a pass first player. He can't handle pressure. He is a fraud for $4.99 US.
Yes, sir. And why? It's also why he hasn't developed. When early on they decided, instead of holding him accountable, they were going to create excuses for him. he, being the weak-minded person that he is, said, "Oh, cool. I'll just ride this train. I won't improve myself. I won't do what's necessary to actually silence true critics. I will just ride the excuses are being made for me train." And we're watching the fruits of that today.
Philco Joe also super chatted you for $4.99. Great live. Keep exposing the LeBron, or keep exposing LeBron. No, keep exposing LeBron. My bad. It's early, man. You hear the roosters over here. It's early. There's another super chat for you as well. The Sandman Morrison for $10 US. How can LeBron say he's the all-time basketball point leader when he's still 9,000 points behind Oscar Schmidt? This is just a trigger question I ask bronsexuals. Again for AOH.
Jeez. Jeez.
I think he passed in total points, but I think for regular season, yeah, I think Oscar Schmidt still has it, but I think for total, because they count all the playoff points, I think if you count the playoff points, he passed Schmidt.
You know, MJ had another reason he's likable. He had the sense of mind to retire in a cool way. Obviously, he couldn't stay away and came back and did the Wizards thing, but that actually is going to work toward the point I'm going to make. When Jerry Krause was doing his thing and insisting on breaking up the Bulls, Jordan could have been caught in his ego or thought process of, I want to set all of these records. And with the power he had, with the desire teams had to have Michael Jordan, he could have put together something and gone somewhere and put together a super team and kept adding accolades. Guess what? That would have hurt the way that people look at Michael Jordan, or at least the people that really like Michael Jordan. That would have hurt his legacy. He could have gotten more titles, more points, et cetera, et cetera. It would have actually hurt his legacy. And for me to be able to say that really pinpoints the difference between LeBron fans and Michael Jordan fans, and in my opinion, true competitors and fanboys. There's a way to play a sport. There's a way to carry yourself, and it's not through manipulating the system. And obviously, when Jordan came back and joined that ridiculous Wizards roster, not a good franchise, not a good roster, not a winning system. He came in and wanted to help a losing system and did not stack the deck. So clearly the reason he came back was not to add on to his records. And I'll say it again. I say this every time for the longevity argument. I am still playing as an old man, and I still go. If I go to the same gym for 40 years and they keep track of my points, I'm going to have the point record. In no way, shape, or form will I be the best basketball player that played there.
That's what made you the GOAT at your local gym.
Yeah. That's what I tell everyone.
Hayden Phoenix also super chats you for $5 US. Nobody beaten, but it's regarding Robin. I guess Robin, if you want to answer it, nobody beating my man Robin in a debate. 100 for $5 US. What do you have to say about that?
Yo, much respect to my man Hayden Phoenix out there, man. A long time supporter of my channel. They know the deal, man. Listen, debating these people out here on social media, on YouTube, what I've noticed and what I've realized, like this dude Jason the Kid, is that they never have anything to say. So this guy's talking in the comments there that we're easy work and that, they say the same thing. Let's debate for money. Everyone has money they want to throw up. I don't do this for money. I'm not here for money. I'm not here to educate you fools, man. That's what I'm doing. I'm setting the record straight, man. But these guys are here for money. They ain't got no money to throw up. You don't even have a video on your channel. So don't offer you an invitation to the league. No, damn that. I'm rescinding that invitation. You show me a video on your channel. Show me a video. Show me your worth coming and debating us, debating someone like Nick, debating anybody else on that platform, man. You're not ready. We're true professional debaters, man. If you're debating someone like me and Nick, man, some of these other guys, man, you have to bring your A game. You can't bring the lies and the narratives. And that's not what it's about, man. It's about the facts here, man. You guys are all emotional. You're talking nonsense. You sound like Nick Wright out here. A bunch of idiots. So you can't come out here to debate. Do a video first. Show and prove, fool. And then you can come and debate us, because you're not even worthy of someone like my time. Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? I'm Sports and Fitness Rants. This is what I do.
How are you going to choose a moderator for this debate? Because that's going to be important. He has to come off as fair, but he's also going to have to keep these LeBron fans in check, because coming on and yelling the way that Shannon Sharp would defeat Skip Bayless and just get loud is not a debate.
So I was gonna. So to answer that is that you know, of course I have the most unbiased channel on the internet, but no, I just have this this construct called the mute button. So it's it'll be turn based. So if people get out of line, essentially I'll let people interject, but if whoever's turn it is, if they ask me to mute them, I will, because that's only fair. Because it's going on somebody's time to make their point. It's going to be 5 3-minute rounds, so everyone's got ample time to say their point.
That's what I'm saying. We've always been professional. Anytime Dart has done a debate, I've debated Nick, and we've done debates. It's always been legit, man. There's no name calling. We're not attacking each other. We're talking about whatever the debate topic is, man. Whenever you debate some of these fools, they always try to change the subject, change the topic on you. Everything's all over the place, and then it becomes personal. I've seen some of these so-called people that want to debate. That's not what I'm here to do.
Yep, we got more super chats, and they're flying in here. Stebby J for, I believe, AOH says, who raised Bron in the NBA? Kobe was raised by MJ. For AOH, if you have anything to say about that, from Stebby J, $2.
Well, Kobe being raised by MJ, a lot of people praise Kobe's work ethic and his killer instinct. I don't know, what does a child of LeBron look like? Who's even going to talk about a child of LeBron?
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. You're right. Shit, you're right. There is a child of LeBron.
There's another super chat by the lowly one, $10 to AOH. It says
man, fucking killing it today.
Yo, you're blowing up, man.
Fucking killing it.
Yo, man, you the man. Yo, you the man.
The Roosters were knocking on their door. $10. Facts, man. They always say that when Jordan beat the Lakers and the Pistons, they were old. How old were the Celtics when LeBron beat them? And how old was Jordan when he won his last chip?
Yeah, a reverse thing, like youth is a problem too. Not only a lot of these guys that LeBron faced, even late in their careers, have shown who they really were, haven't managed to put together anything impressive. In fact, they've continued to show who they really are. Now take those guys and look at them as rookies, as children. That's who LeBron was against. I mean, they say these dumb things like LeBron beat the Celtics when Jordan couldn't, as if today's Celtics or the Celtics. I'm sorry, it's so dumb. What do those teams have to do with each other? And one of the greatest teams ever assembled, that Celtics team that Jordan faced when he came back from the broken foot and got swept. I mean, a lot of people argue that was the greatest team. I mean, I don't know if that's obviously everybody wants to talk about the Bulls teams and the Warriors teams more, but that team was also on that list. No one's ever going to say any of these teams that Jordan faced in the East were some of the greatest teams ever. In fact, Tatum and Brown were what? One was a rookie and one was in one season. The Thunder, who also, those three haven't shown that they can do something late in their careers. Well, KD with the Warriors, I guess. But those guys were children at that time. And LeBron James was in his peak with the benefit of veterans, experienced veterans, to go against these guys. I mean, it's amazing how they want to talk about age without actually examining the age issue. And obviously the most obvious ones are LeBron getting beaten by the retirement home Spurs. I mean, what the hell? Unathletic and old looking dudes. God, and I had what? Damn it! When I rant for too long, this old brain, I can't remember one of the points I was going to make. But fuck.
Yep, it happens.
Well, you got another super chat, AOH, for $5 Canadian. How are people in the elbow up bulldozer ball with the palms to the sky after each attempt?
It's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. And it's really upsetting to hear the announcers talk about you can't stop him going downhill. You can't stop him when he's allowed to use illegal moves. You can't stop him when the analysts the next day talk about how great he's playing, when the reality is he's being allowed to cheat in order to stay relevant. And anyone who argues that he's playing great, and you still have these guys, even now, there's a lot of these projects I've started, and I don't know if they're worth finishing, but I just want to call out some of these analysts who even now are saying this shit like LeBron is currently a top 10 player. Some of them even saying right now a top 5 player. They need to be called out by the other panelists and say, okay, he's better than these people that everybody's talking about right now, these people that are currently in the playoffs right now setting historic numbers. LeBron, who is being accused by half the panelists now of he needs to retire. The guys who have had the fatigue are actually saying, okay, yeah, he doesn't play defense anymore. These other failures in his game, while simultaneously being able to say that he's a current top 10 player when we have people doing insane shit in the NBA right now. It's so offensive to the other players and very upsetting that there are people so dumb that the only thing required is for them to hear the lie, for them to accept the lie. That's why my channel started.
Yeah. Animaniac 89 also super chats you $4.99, but it's targeted to me and Robin. It says, Dart, charge your battery. I love these streams. Shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants. Obviously I do not have a battery charger. No, I'm outside. That's really, and for today too. But my battery is doing well right now, so that's a good thing. I still have 50%.
You guys need to super chat Dart. He's a hobo. He's living, living on the street.
I don't even have a house. I'm out here with the roosters. You know, I got some newspaper over there. But yeah, but no, thanks for the super chat for AOH as well. So Pierre did another super chat. This one actually went to me for $5 US. Dart, thank you in advance for holding the event for the debate. Now let's see if Jason shows up since he hates Robin so much. I would think that he's not going to, just up front. I'm not going to say he won't show up, but I don't think he will. That's how usually a lot of these things go. But maybe he will. That'd be great if he did. And if you want to participate, y'all can email me at michaeljordanfans@gmail.com, and we will get you in. This upcoming Sunday is the last on the 19th to sign up. And I believe there's one more, and it's from Cash. This was also super chatted to AOH, but it was directed towards me for $1.99. MJFB, we need channel links of the panel somewhere. So what I do on my channel, so with the restream, now this one I actually didn't do it because I was just jacked up and I didn't do the right thing. But I will put them in a description section of the video on my channel. But when you restream it, the description section doesn't transfer over. So if you're watching on AOH's channel, you can come to my channel and look at the video. It won't be on this one, but if you look at my lives with the people on there, you'll be able to see the channel links on there for Nick. But real fast, I believe it's at NMB Sports for you.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy to find.
And then is it at Sports and Fitness Rants for you?
I'll be completely honest. I don't even know what you're talking about, man. Listen, I don't know anything about anything, man. So many people be hitting me up in my comment section talking about links to descriptions, and I don't know this stuff. I do everything off of my cell phone. I am not savvy like that, man. I got a PlayStation 5. and that's about it, man. So once again, I don't even know how to link it. Like, you guys will put the notification on your channel that the live stream is. I don't even know how to do that. So I don't know.
Can you accept super chats? Do you know that much?
No, I know that I was demonetized for reuse of content, apparently, because I don't even know. Once again, I don't even know what I did. I got demonetized without even knowing what I did wrong. And like I said, it's all good, man.
You know what it might be is if we're all doing these streams, I wonder if somewhere in the algorithm they see it as like someone using someone else's thing.
I was taking small clips of like old film, like
old
highlights, and I was putting them on. But apparently they were saying that you have to edit it. Like, I have to like maybe write something on the video or do a voice behind it. You know, I have to make it my own per se.
No,
so
you've got it.
I didn't make it my own. They're saying that I was reusing content. This is what I'm thinking, or what I'm getting from what I've read.
I would have had to report him, and I did not report him, obviously. So it's
strange, man, because anytime that I went to post a video or anything like that, anytime that anything came up yellow for me, ad suitability or anything like that, I never put those videos up. I would automatically delete the video. Sometimes all you have to do is change the title to the video and it won't come up with a yellow ad suitability. It's so weird, man. Sometimes if you change the thumbnail picture, it won't be that way. So like I said, it's all good, man. Once again, I'm still here. You still know who I am, man. Nothing changing.
Another super chat came in for AOH. How can you be called a top 10 current player when you're on one of the bottom 2 or 3 distance shooters in the entire league? $5 Canadian.
Because they'll get you to focus that he's having his best 3-point shooting year. And if the people that want to believe the lie already are heading down that path, then that's all they needed to hear. That's all they needed to hear. They don't care that he doesn't hit him when it matters. They don't care that he's wide open. They don't care that his shooting percentage has gotten better because people have stopped bothering to even guard him on the perimeter because he's so bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for the super chat.
So Nick and AOH, I know you both wanted to talk about a couple things, and we'll lead with Nick since he brought it up first. What did you want to talk about before that you brought up?
We kind of touched on it already, but we had done that stream about if LeBron should retire, and the one thing I had wanted to ask was, what do we think LeBron does for like 1 to 5 years after retirement? Like, in my opinion, I think he's going to hang around the NBA. He still is going to be like a face, which will be a little weird for a retired player. I can't quite remember anyone doing that if LeBron does end up doing it. I think he's still going to be very active in the league, which I don't like. I think you've had your time. You've said what you needed to say, did what you needed to do. You just kind of, it's okay to go out the back door silently and, not be seen and make a big gesture of it. He'll get his retirement parade and all that, which is, probably fair enough. But just what is he going to do? Because there is the part that I think he will hang around the NBA. Unfortunately, one guy had once said like an albatross around the neck of the NBA, which I think was a good way of putting it. But also outside of the NBA, I'm curious what he will fill his time with.
Yeah, I guess I'll answer it first because I don't think I touched on it, but I think that he will continue to do things like the podcast he's doing. I think he needs to be in the media, and I know the social activism, however you want to classify it. I think that he would keep his face out there as a public figure, and I don't think he could let the spotlight go, man. You know what I mean? Like, he just seems like he needs the attention. So in 1 to 5 years, and I know he was talking about going and buying a team and all that sort of stuff. I could see him doing that and just being a very public person, kind of like God, I can't remember his name right now. It's early. The Dallas Mavericks owner,
Cuban. That's
Cuban.
Actually probably a good theory.
That's what I see with it. What do you two think about that?
He's definitely going to be an owner.
Yeah, that's actually probably is a good point.
Mm-hmm. Hey, wait, if you guys don't want to add on to what Nick was saying, AOH, what were you trying to bring up before?
I was actually listening to Uncommon in my headphones while I was shooting the other day, and I was shooting alone on an empty court, and he was talking about how where does he live, by the way?
Oh, I don't know, man. He's
yeah, sure.
yeah.
Okay,
LeBron?
well, he was talking about the city that he lives in and how the basketball courts used to all be full with games running. And I was realizing, shit, what has happened to the basketball courts lately? And he made me remember in the 90s and early 2000s when I was really balling, and me and my crew would go looking for the best court to play at, the best teams to play against. Multiple options. Every court had people playing. And I was just wondering if you guys have seen a decline like that, like he's talking about, and if this is also a LeBron James effect, if that was a Michael Jordan effect, making basketball so lovable back then that everybody was playing and playing better than they play now, by the way. I had a terrible experience trying to play with these fucking idiots last night that don't know basketball rules. But anyway, you guys, does what Uncommon said resonate with anyone?
I have a small take on that. I've used the analogy before how, it used to be, I think at the end of my time in like high school, you played as many sports as possible, right? And maybe you were better at one, you picked one, but you just did everything you could, right? The kids these days are playing 7-on-7 football 365 days a year. They're in camp shooting threes all the time. And one thing I remember hearing a lot kind of as I started to not play as much and made some sense is like, why would a kid who's like a starter at a high school or wants to play high school ball and is practicing on all these skills, like, why am I going to go play down at the rec with some nobodies and like get my knee banged up or rolled or something like that? I think a lot of that is going into it. Like, people are sort of playing it safe in a way. Like, I don't know how to exactly put it, but it's kind of like, I'm not going to risk injury unless it's a game, like a game, right?
Oh, God.
An
So
AAU game or something.
Everybody's
I feel like
themselves, they're just taking,
that might be part of it.
They're acting like the NBA players. Everyone takes themselves too seriously. Everybody's their own god. Just go play for the fucking love of the game. God damn it. You get hurt. It happens.
Well,
fucking grow up.
I think when you talk about the basketball court thing, and I've heard my man Uncommon talk about that in some of his videos as well. I think it also goes to the larger societal issue, once again, that we've talked about before. And kids don't really go outside as much as they used to. So we think about just that in large, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm speaking, from someone that has kids that play sports. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I coach my son's basketball. I coach baseball. My daughter plays soccer, things of that nature. So, yeah, I'm all about kids being active and doing those things. But large in part, when we were younger, when I was young growing up, that's really all you had was to go outside and do things, whether you were climbing trees. When was the last time you saw a kid climbing a tree? Kids don't climb trees anymore. They don't know how to climb trees. They would be terrified to climb a tree. So that's part of the reason why I think you don't see the courts as much. And just like we mentioned earlier, the time of that Uncommon, I believe we're about the same age. I'm 43. So he's talking about that 90s. Michael Jordan and what he brought everyone out there. That time, everyone was out there doing it. Everybody was on the court out there emulating Michael Jordan and some of these other players of the 90s, man, not just Michael Jordan, man. So yeah, he's right with some of that stuff. But it also can be, where you're from. Maybe your area people do still play basketball a lot in certain areas. But like I said, a lot of kids don't go out as much as they used to.
Yeah, I mean, you can even see it, right? I mean, even Jordan technically played two sports, Dion, Bo, right? There was tons of guys like you just played. That used to be the mentality. And now I feel like it's more you prep to play instead of just playing to play, if that kind of makes sense. Like, it's a risk aversion sort of thing.
Right. You know who's making money on YouTube? Not us. Children playing video games.
Yeah.
And people watching them play video games. That still freaks me out that's a thing.
Millions and millions of subscribers and views.
I mean, they're being rewarded to not go outside. There's actually a financial incentive to be physically incapable of anything. except earn a paycheck for sitting on your ass.
Yeah. A lot more options to kids for sure these days than, right, like Robin said, than what we had.
Well, for me with the basketball, seeing kids, I don't see kids play outside anymore either. And even a few years ago, I went and I visited my hometown. And when I played as a kid, these courts that I went to in the summertime, and I visited in the summertime, they would be packed completely. There were 4 courts in this area by a school, and there would be a game running on every court, and there'd be teams waiting on every court. And I went back, and there was nobody there. Ironically, the only guy I saw was some older guy that I played with as a kid who was about 70 at the time that I saw him come back in, or that time that I went. But I think it's not that kids aren't playing anymore, kind of like what Nick was saying, but I think they all migrated to those indoor courts for the most part. And yeah, it's not as let's just go out and play basketball kind of stuff. Because for me, I would play all day long as a kid. It was something that I did for fun, and it was kind of I don't want to say prideful in a way, but I really loved playing the game. So I went out there and I played because I wanted to, and I made it a point to do it because it's something that I love to do. I don't think kids have that same passion anymore, or at least that's what I see. I don't think they do.
It's also the banana boat culture, right? Like if me and my friends were not trying to beat each other one-on-one to death in the driveway, we were at the gym trying to beat the other kids, as bad as we could, right? It's just I think the banana boat culture too is a whole thing. Like, I don't want to play too tough, and like the kid down the street, like we can't get too competitive, or we might hate each other. Like, there's just a big thing about that too. I think everything, kind of the culture, like everything is so personal, right? And it's like, no, we're playing ball, and then once the game's over, it's over, right? Like, it's maybe sometimes you draw a little bit, but it's a game, right? It's a game. It's an outlet that we love to do. Like you were saying, we just love to play. But I think the banana boat culture has a little bit to do with it, a little bit as well, right?
Nick, you're right, man. Listen, man. The professionals have to take ownership, man. The pros, same thing with the adults. Like I said, if you're a parent of children, you have to lead them by example. You have to show them the way. The professionals are not leading by example, man. When you look at the last, 10, 15 years of the NBA, it's gone downhill. When we look at USA basketball, it's a perfect example. All of a sudden now, what do they say? Oh, the world has caught up to USA basketball. And I say that's wrong. That's not accurate. What's happened is the NBA's become stagnant. USA basketball has become stagnant. The game is not being pushed forward any longer. So think about it. How can the world catch up to us? Simply because we're standing still. That's how they catch you. You think right now, if you drop the 1992 Dream Team into Olympic play, you're telling me the world has passed them by? The world has surpassed all of a sudden the skills? No, because those guys played with the effort, the heart, the grit, the toughness, and they were skilled, even though they try to tell you today those guys weren't skilled back then. Those guys were great. So if you drop that 92 Dream Team in Olympic play this Olympics, they would do just fine. They would dominate because they had that game. What's going on right now is the game has not been pushed forward. The game has become stagnant. Look at the All-Star game. It's an absolute joke. So the USA basketball has not gone forward, so the world has now what? Oh, they caught up to us because we ain't doing nothing, man. These guys are not leading by example. These soft, sensitive children that are out there now, they're all fat. Everyone's out of shape. No one could do anything. Kids are walking up a flight of stairs. They can't breathe. They're wheezing. Everyone wants to sit inside. No one wants to do anything. You got kids drinking coffee at 9 years old. They're drinking soda all day long. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, man.
And you're not allowed to say, and you're not allowed to call them out, which is part of it. You're body shaming. You can't actually tell someone to live a healthy lifestyle because they're so important and their feelings are validated and they need that food and they hate exercise. It's just how they feel, and you need to respect their feelings that they don't like exercise.
To go back what you're saying about the Dream Team too, I think one of the things that gets overlooked about them, I heard a coach recently, I don't know who it was, but he said something like players today can do so much, but they're not better basketball players. I think it's kind of one of the talking points we've said, right? All these guys have a bag, but what can they really do? Like, I want to see it translate into winning and success on the court. I think that's kind of what he was saying. And the great thing that gets looked over about the Dream Team is these egos and superstars playing together, right? Everyone knew their role. They knew what they needed to do. You know, like could Bird shoot 8 threes a game if he wanted? I mean, I know he was hurt, but no, he wouldn't do that. He'd still play within the team, within the system. Everybody knew their role, right? I think that's one of the things that gets overlooked is it reminds me of today, right? Like, I don't think superstars of today could come in and just gel because can they do more? I mean, technically, yeah, whatever you want to say about that. But are they better basketball players? Do they get the game? Can they adapt and fit into a system? Can they understand a strategy and an angle we're trying to execute as a team? And can you do your role that I need you to do instead of being the head honcho on your NBA team that you just came from? Can you fit in, right? I think that's one of the big things about today is, you know, throw a bunch of the best guys on every team onto on the USA Olympic team. And I just don't think it's just not the same. And like you were saying, you could drop those 92 Dream Team guys in right now and they would dominate just like they did in 92.
Yeah, I think in respect to that, I caught the back end of it, but yeah, everyone wants to be, and I'm kind of saying this, you know, cheekily, everyone wants to be like Julian Newman. You know what I mean? Just have your YouTube channel, and it doesn't even matter if you're going to make the league or not, but you're famous for playing basketball, and you don't, and you know what I mean? Like, and this is to take it a step further. Maybe you talked about this, but just a lot of these kids' attitudes toward the game as well is something that just, again, you know, it doesn't seem like they have passion for it. It seems like it's all self-serving, and it's not about the game. It's about the YouTube, essentially.
Yeah, get mine. Yeah.
And and that goes all back to what we were initially talking about and why Michael Jordan is still so popular to this day. It's not just the numbers and the accolades. It's about what Michael Jordan meant, the way that he carried himself, playing with that love of the game that we're talking about. These guys don't really seem to have that love. I'm telling you right now, a lot of these guys who are considered all-time greats, if they didn't get paid, they would not be playing basketball, man. They would not. These guys don't do it. We think about LeBron James, for example. One of the knocks on him has been that he's never really worked on his game over the years. These guys, a lot of them want to get by on that athleticism. Like, look at Ben Simmons, like you mentioned earlier in the live stream, how he was considered to be LeBron James 2.0 early in his career. But he did not want to work on his game. That was the problem with Ben Simmons. He didn't want to put the work in. He thought because he was 6'10" and athletic, that was going to be good enough for him in his NBA career. He can get the money, and that's going to be all great. But you're never going to get the respect then. That's the problem. We're going to look at you as a joke, which is what he is.
Yeah. We had a couple more super chats come in. I don't know if you guys saw this with Cash. He super chatted again for $4.99 to AOH. He says, for the great common sense takes with a thumbs up. You have anything to say about it, AOH?
Thank you, Cash. And, you know, Cash, I caught a couple of his chats on the side. He's encouraging people to support our channels. And I appreciate your positivity, Cash. And and thank you again for another super chat.
And then you've also got another super chat from King Kango for $1.99. But I wanted to just to put that out for everyone that is watching. Yeah, please, if you like what we have to say, go check out our channels and subscribe to them and like the videos and get on board of each of our channels. You can check us out at obviously Angry Old Hoops. You can find me at Michael Jordan Fans Are the Best or MJFB, NMB Sports, Sports Fitness France. We got all of our tags here for our channels, so just go search it up. You'll be able to find us that way. On a sidebar for everyone that's still in here. I'm also doing a summer debate league where the grand prize is a $200 custom championship belt. If you'd like to join, please email me at michaeljordanfansarethe@gmail.com. I have a video on the rules, but it's an opportunity to showcase your debate skills and win a cool prize. And you don't have to put any money down or anything like that. It's just a grand prize just to give back to the people.
Now, if you win, you're like automatically entered for the next year, and you bring the belt back, right?
Well, yeah. So I was just gonna. Well, I would bring the belt, but I was planning on next year just to give another belt to somebody.
Just make another one. Okay. Either way, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I would definitely carry that thing around if I won. In general, I'm not gonna win, but Oh, here's another one. Cash also. Oh, here it is. He actually added everybody, and he super chatted AOH again for $4.99. And yeah, those are our ats. So
I'll just I'll pass that along to Robin. I'll PayPal Robin. Hey, does this fall under the banana boating thing that Nick was talking about? Where you see these dudes, I can't remember how long ago it was, but it started a long time ago, where guys acted like it was cool not to try very hard out on the basketball court, and some of them would even walk over and answer their cell phone as if they're like so goddamn important that they need to leave a basketball game and check their phones. And they all just start getting into these childish screaming matches and crazy profanity and derogatory shit like immediately and over nothing. But it reminds me of some of these ex NBA players with their podcasts and the way that they behave, and it's really embarrassing to see how they behave. Now you see these kids on the court acting like them.
You know, because what you're alluding to, HOH, is that these guys have lost the fact and the sight that playing basketball in the NBA is actually a privilege. They're privileged to be playing in the NBA no matter how you slice it. People can say whatever they want about these things, the contracts, the kind of money these guys get paid, or some of the money these guys don't get paid, whatever. It's a privilege to play in the NBA, to be able to play a game that you love. And like I said, get paid to do these things. The problem for a lot of these players is that they feel so entitled now. How dare we criticize them? How dare we hold them to a standard? They just want their money and they want the fans to go to the games and shut up. How dare we challenge them this way? This is why these guys are disgusted and they're so sensitive. They can't take any backlash. I mean, think about the NBA players and the way the media is with a lot of these guys. They handle them with kid gloves. You can't ask them any tough questions in a post-game press conference. You can't give them any kind of pushback. Or these guys are going to go into some tirade, or they're going to act like you're disrespecting them. It's insane to me, man, the level that these guys have gone to as far as them believing that they have a right to play in the NBA. And damn it, you're going to pay us whatever we want, and we don't have to give that effort. We don't have to show up for every game and give the effort. We don't care about the fans like that. This is why they'll have them ejected from the stands. I tell people all the time, this is my stance. The people who are at these games should be able to say whatever they want. Do I agree with some of the things people say? Absolutely not. I do not condone racism or things like that. But if someone feels the nerve that they have the right, they're going to say that kind of stuff in public, if they feel that comfortable and they say it, that's on that person. But they should be professionals. We go back to that word being a professional. You know what being a professional is? I'm going to give you an example of what being a professional is. A lot of people don't know, but I served in the U.S. Navy. I served during wartime. We all know what happened during 9/11. I served from 1999 to 2003. I was a gunner's mate, right? So there were often times when I would go to base. I'm driving to the base in Virginia, right? Norfolk, Virginia. There were people out there protesting the war. They were protesting us, the U.S. sailors, going to work every day, yelling at us, saying things to us because they were against the war and what the government was doing over there, right? Did I ever get out of my car and confront these people? Did I get out of my car and yell at them and say, damn it, I'm protecting you folks. Damn it, wake and open your damn eyes. No, we didn't do those things. You went to work because we're professionals. That's what you're supposed to be. These guys have lost sight of this stuff. They're not true professionals. So anytime someone heckles them, someone says something out of line, out of color, they get all upset and say, how dare you say this to me? I'm a professional athlete. Don't carry yourself that way.
Real fast, we got the super chat from King Kango for Robin for $4.99. Says the fact that Ant Edwards is being compared to Jordan instead of Excuse James is very telling. What do you have to say about that, Robin?
Yeah, you're right on the money, man. Right on the money. This is what we're always alluding to when we hear people referred to as the Michael Jordan of. I've told that story many times. I was watching the news one day, and the woman, there was a guy on there, right? And they referred to this guy's wife as the Michael Jordan of women's underwear because she was the creator of Spanx. This is what the news anchor called his wife, the Michael Jordan of women's underwear. That's why you heard me correctly, guys. So it doesn't matter what you are, what you do. You can be the Michael Jordan of that. That's right on the money.
So are y'all good if we take a couple calls and then start wrapping it up? It's about that Yeah. You good for calls?
Yeah.
Let's do
All
it.
right. All right. If you all want to call in, please come to my channel. It's the easiest way to do it. And on your way in, if you could subscribe to my channel, that'd be great if you like what I got to say. But it's the easiest way to be able to join the call. So I'm dropping the link right now. And for the first couple of people, you have the opportunity to ask us a question. So, yeah. So the roosters have gone. I guess they've woken up the neighborhood. Maybe they're going to another neighborhood. But I might change the thumbnail that I had and just put some roosters on it. that was
Very funny.
But yeah, and I will be out here in the same location during the Sunday show in the morning, so that will be something. All right, we got Pierre who's called in. He should be trying to get him on. Oh no, did it crash? Can y'all hear me?
I hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to let Pierre on. It just kind of took a second. Oh man. Oh, there we go. Oh, it dropped off. All right.
Gentlemen,
Man.
I think that was a great day. I'm going to go do some Mother's Day things. But
All right. That was fun, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone who tuned in today. And thank you for the super chats. I'll see you all soon.
Yo, blow it up, man. Take it easy.
Yep. Have a great day. We got T Perfect here. Welcome, sir. Do you have a question or a comment for the panel members?
Yeah, just a quick question. I've always been super curious. Obviously, you all might guess the go, but I'm wondering specifically for sports and fitness. Who's your top five? And what's your ranking criteria? Just I always wondered about that.
My rank, see, I have a different top 10 than most people, man. Once again, thanks for calling in. My top 10 is based off of the worthiness of your career, man. That's my top 10, man. It doesn't have just to do with stats or the accolades or just the eye test, things of that nature, man. So my top 10 is Michael Jordan, Will Chamberlain. I have Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Bill Russell, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Dr. J, and Jerry West. That's my top 10. Now, for me, I do not have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in my top 10. And a lot of people beg, oh, how come Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not in my top 10? It's not that I don't think that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a top 10 player. That's why I say my top 10 is different than many people. These are the top 10 players I believe are worthy. My problem with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, briefly, is once again, I believe if Dr. J played in the NBA his entire career, there was no ABA, that he would have a couple of more of those MVP trophies that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won. And once again, for me, it came down to Magic Johnson or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Who do I believe had a bigger impact on each other's career? And for me, I think that Magic Johnson had a greater impact on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's overall career, pretty much resurrecting him, so to speak, in LA by coming in there. So I put Magic Johnson in there, so not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But if someone told me Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the greatest player of all time, I would have no problem with that. I have no arguing with that. But that's my 10, man.
Got it. It's fair.
All right.
I appreciate that question. Thank you very much, man, for real.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna let YT Hoops on, but thank you for calling in, Travis. And
Yes,
we'll see you on the flip side somewhere.
Yep.
at least in the debate league. Have a good day.
Yeah.
And we got YT Hoops. Welcome, YT
What's up,
Hoops.
fellas? How you doing? Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks. Yeah. So, here's my question. You guys kind of touched on this. What do you think is causing? Because, I'm 34. The first real superstar I watched was Shaq. Loved him. I've always loved him. I rank him very high. But just as an example, I thought it was really classless what he did with Joker. Totally fine to mention it, but in that moment, I'm just like, dude, what? What are you doing? But you see that. You see with Gilbert Arenas. You see it sometimes with KG. Why do you think these older players who come from this generation where they were playing ball properly seem to almost adopt some of the mindset of today? Do you think it's just trying to fit in?
What did he say again, real quick? Fill me in.
He was like, "Hey man, congratulations!" Literally, the moment he's telling him that he won, "Hey, congrats on the MVP!" I just want to let you know I voted for Shea. I thought it was just weird to do it publicly too. Like, you kind of humiliate a guy. Like, fair enough to vote for Shea. I think there's a case for him. I just like. It reminded me of Kanye West with Taylor Swift.
Taylor
Like, what,
Swift,
dude?
yeah.
Yeah, like
Was he kind of being like dry humor, Shaq, though, or did he come off as serious? Like he thought
he
he
came
shouldn't
off
be
No,
voting?
as
hold on.
serious and that.
Let me know. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
'cause I
clarify
didn't see it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
clarify this right now. Nah, Shaq was being Shaq. He's a problem with a lot of these guys,
Maybe.
man. And what you're talking about with this is Shaq has got a lot of insecurities, man. And
He does.
how do we know this? Because Shaquille O'Neal is always referring to himself as the most dominant ever. Shaq cannot help himself. He always has to call himself the most dominant ever.
Right.
It's like LeBron James calling himself the GOAT. This is what Shaq's been doing. So you can tell that Shaq is very upset that he hasn't won more than one MVP in his career. So anytime, look how salty he is about Steve Nash all these years later.
That's what I was
Crazy.
gonna
upset
say.
about that
Yeah.
stuff. These are the kinds of things that are going on these guys' head. When you ask the question, why do they act this way now, even though they played in a different era? Because a lot of these guys have sold their integrity for the money. So they're not keeping consistent, and they're not giving you the facts. They're very disingenuous. And for someone like Shaq, I believe he's very jealous of a Nikola Jokic. But he has the right to be jealous, and he's got a kind of a point. Because for me, someone like me, who grew up in watching the 80s and the 90s basketball, I watched the early 2000s. To me, Nikola Jokic is not winning 3 MVPs in those eras. Maybe he gets 1. He's not winning 3 over Magic, Bird, Kareem, Jordan, Moses Malone, Dr. J, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon. You're not winning 3 MVPs over that era of players.
That's a fair point. I also I don't think Shaq needs to be jealous. It's like, dog, you got 4 championships, 3 finals MVP. Like, what are you upset about? You know?
Exactly. Shaq should be Shaq, like you said, Shaq is an all-time great. To me, I don't understand why these guys don't appreciate their careers. Look at even someone to a lesser degree as Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen still to this day is not happy with his career. Dude, you're one of the greatest players of all time. We all respected you and appreciated what you meant for Michael Jordan being that second guy. And all these years later now, you want to act like you're somebody that you weren't, and now we got to put you in your place.
It's sad. Yeah, the whole Scottie thing is very sad. Pathetic, honestly.
It's a bad way of like, you know, especially if you're great, but when you retire, like you're supposed to be an ambassador. Like I was saying, when Jordan left because his time was done and it was time for the next crop, right? It's just, it just comes off salty and childish, and like you should be. These guys are playing now. You should be hyping them up, putting the product out in front of as many people, and being complimentary. But yeah, that's kind of sad that he did that, I guess.
Right, but maybe it's not a new thing. Like wasn't Wilt doing that to like Jordan, Dr. J?
What YT? We're gonna let some other callers on, but thank you for calling.
Yeah, thanks.
But have a good day. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, Wilt was like that a little bit too. I guess you could say a little bit.
Yeah, but that was with the greatest of all time conversation. That's a lot different. You know what I'm saying?
That's true too.
Wilt he was the greatest still.
Yeah.
We've got Phil here, but real fast, I got a couple of super chats from It's Not That Serious. The first one saying MJ or LeBron's resume is just the first bout Hall of Famer, and then the other one says the GOAT his GOAT case, he's a fringe top 10. But first off, thank you for the super chats.
That's where I got him too.
And yeah, I think the last time I did a list, I had him at number 11. But thank you for the super chats.
That's where I have him as well.
Nice. But welcome, Phil. Do you have a question or a comment for the panel?
How's it going, fellas? I actually just think that, or I should ask, what do you think weighs more, 40,000 points or 10 straight scoring titles?
I'll take this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, again, this goes back to peak and dominance, right? LeBron has only twice ever led the league in any category. 1 time assists, 1 time points. That's it, right? So putting that into context with his 40,000 plus points compared to Jordan's, again, his all of his scoring titles and the 3 times he led the league in steals, right? The peak, the dominance, leading the league is easily more impressive than the accumulation of the total points, in my opinion.
I agree in a word or a phrase.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. But obviously, you know, others don't. But that's one of the questions that I have. But the other question that I have that, not too many people kind of dig deep on is the actual Warriors dynasty. And the question that I have is that I just can't get past are the Houston Rockets, the 2018 Houston Rockets, are they the second greatest team ever? Because they should have beaten the Warriors. That 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 that's what goes on in my mind. I go, watching that series, they should have lost. And nobody would have said, nobody was thinking Houston was one of the greatest teams. You see what I'm saying? So I just, I
I get what
would
you're
say
saying.
that,
If Paul doesn't pull his hammy, they probably win that series.
right, but they treat it as though they act as if it's non-existent, what happened. And the fact that he beat the 2016 Warriors, that was a good accomplishment, I would say, but they were down 3-1 the series before in the Western Conference to Oklahoma City. If Kevin Durant didn't choke that series away along with Westbrook, then we'd be having a different conversation, probably. You know,
Yeah.
Yo, so
I
you
mean,
you
there's
just debunked the Warriors dynasty. You just did it. So congratulations to you. You're on the money with this. So when you think about 2016, you just alluded to it. The 2016 team was really only there because Kevin Durant is a fraud, right? He choked it up, so they were able to win. You talked about 2018. Let's think about 2017. People forget to mention that Kawhi Leonard was taken out by Zaza Pachulia with the San Antonio Spurs up 20-plus points in the third quarter. To that 2017 Golden State Warrior team, his leg gets taken out. They win the series. Like I said, you mentioned 2018. So what does that show you? It shows you that the Golden State Warriors, as great of a team as they were not this unbeatable juggernaut that the LeBron James fans want you to believe. Oh, LeBron James was playing against a stacked super team that he could never beat. No one will ever beat that team. They were being beat. The only reason that we could point to that they won is because other teams choked up. James Harden in 2018, where the hell was he in Game 7? Nowhere to be found. Once again, where was Kevin Durant in Game 7 in 2016? He was nowhere to be found. So when we think about these things, man, it exposes that dynasty aspect behind the Warriors and them being really battle-tested, in my eyes, and fraudulent, man. So when we think about, you mentioned the scoring titles in the 40,000 points. So essentially what that highlights is LeBron James' lack of ability to be a potent offensive scorer. So many times we talked about LeBron James' lack of overall offensive game. And where does it highlight itself? Well, quite simply, this is why he's only led the league in scoring one time in his career. Even though he takes 20-plus shots a game in his career, he only managed one scoring title. Why is that? Because LeBron James is not a potent offensive scorer. There have been other players in the NBA at the time that he's been playing that have been more potent on the offensive end. Even Russell Westbrook was more potent offensively at certain points of his career than LeBron James. He has 2 scoring titles. We all know about James Harden, the Kevin Durant, these kinds of guys that win the scoring titles. So LeBron James is not as potent as some of these guys. Even Donovan Mitchell broke LeBron James' 40-point games in one season mark in his first year in Cleveland. So that highlights he's not that potent offensively.
that's a great point. I just have 2 more. I'm sorry.
Phil, we're gonna let the next guy on, but
Okay, no problem.
But thank you for calling.
No problem.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you.
We got Pierre. How are you, Pierre?
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Right, what
Great.
up?
I'm just so upset at these guys messing with Robin, man.
Yeah.
I had to crush this guy, Jason, earlier, because he was saying all this sexual stuff about Robin, earlier. It's just unbelievable. How can you have somebody hate somebody that much, man? Unbelievable. Over basketball. It's retarded. You know what I mean, Nick?
Yep.
It's just
I didn't see what he was saying, but I'm sure it was stupid.
Trust me, man, it was crazy. So I said, let me just delete this stuff right now because I don't even want Robin to see it. Because I don't want him to have to kill somebody with all the muscles he's got. You know what I mean? But anyway, hey Dart,
What's up?
what's up with the Roosters, man? Come on, be honest.
Be honest.
I'm so I actually bought some at a farm lately, and I don't have a house. So
Okay.
no, I just thought they'd be a good part of the show. No, I'm just outside and I'm around roosters, and I sometimes I wasn't muting it. I started to mute it after a while after I realized how bad it was, and then sometimes I missed it.
No, I
But
just
no,
thought it was funny. That's all.
just wild roosters running around here, waking everybody up at 6 in the morning or so. So
Oh, it's
no,
great.
yeah, I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
But,
it's very funny for the show. Oh my God, I was just laughing my ass off. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I sent oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. What you call him, a message earlier.
AOH.
No. Uncommon Sense.
Oh,
I sent him a message because I thought he was mad at you, Dark. That's why he wasn't coming on. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I just talked to him recently, and because I hadn't talked to him in a while, and then he said he just had some business ventures going on. I don't know how much I don't want to put his stuff out what we talked about because I don't know if he's okay
it's
with
cool.
it. So, but yeah, he had some stuff going on. He said it was really busy with her.
I mean, I'm so happy the fact that he's still down and he's still coming back to the show. It's just that he's so his whole demeanor and his thought process is so great. The way he puts out his videos, it's unbelievable, and he's so on point. You know what I mean? That's why we have such a diverse channel here. You know what I'm saying? Because we got Robin's personality, we got Nick who's cool. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And AOH, he's ready to just cut you in half. And we got we have a really diverse group. And Dart, even though you're young, I always told you this. You're just as smart as a whip. You know what I'm saying?
Pierre, you're a good hype man.
But I'm just trying to be on point with everybody. Because we're ready to crush these people who want to talk of negative stuff about Jordan and want to bring up stuff about the past that is not true. And you know me, I just get sick of hearing this I call it Lane talk, because that's what it is. I call it Lane talk, because it's just retarded. And Nick, I want to ask you a question though.
Mm-hmm.
When LeBron retires, right? I feel that he's just going to go into movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know though. I think even LeBron might be a little honest with himself that he's not the greatest actor, right? I don't think Space Jam 2 would have been like a huge hit. Okay, maybe. But I think LeBron knows him trying to be an actor, I don't think is a good look. I hope he has some self-awareness for that. But you're right. I mean, you never know. He can do whatever he wants. So if that's what he wants to do, there'd be plenty of people who would give him a chance.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to be an owner, but I'm just talking about the acting wise. Now, I have watched his reviews. He gets good reviews on his acting ability, though, and stuff that he's done. And to me, it's not nothing special. But I'm saying, I'm talking about the reviewers, But he may be paying them off too. Like Clutch could be paying them off.
And if he was smart too for his image, I think he would do like funny little cameos here and there. Nothing big, just a 5-second little. I think people like that when celebrities can kind of maybe not take themselves so seriously and do smaller stuff like that. If he was smart, that's what he would do. He would just do little cameos here and there. I think people would find that kind of funny.
Yeah. Hey, Dart, you see AOH want to join in?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was him.
It could be somebody fake. Okay.
AOH, are you there? Can you hear us? AOH.
You're right. It could be somebody.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on the move, but I heard the callers as I was walking away and wanted to join in remotely.
Yeah, that's my bad. I thought because there was a guy putting troll things in there like LeBron is the GOAT, so I thought it might have been the same guy trying to, impersonate you or something.
Yeah, there was a troll there. Yeah,
that'd be a funny bit, actually.
He did snip in. Hey, Dart, can I ask Nick a technical question?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Well, no, I'm asking you, Nick, because you helped me before. Maybe you don't realize my question first. I can't I can't mute my my my
Microphone.
my speaker on the phone. I don't know how to do it to go on the restream, restream.
I'm not sure. You probably hit the microphone or your settings and change the output.
Okay, I'll try that because I can't mute. I can't. What I'm saying is I can't unmute. It's blocked, and I can't open it up. It won't open up, so I can talk on my phone. Like I'm talking on here right now, without
Yeah, I'm
showing
not sure. You probably have to change your mic input settings.
Okay.
But hey, Pierre, yeah, thanks for calling in and happy Mother's Day.
Thanks, Pierre.
Same to you guys.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day.
Have a good day.
Good to hear from everybody.
Yeah, AOH. Yeah, my bad. I was trying to see if you could flash your camera because I thought it was a troll, but it looks like the caller. Yeah, so because there was a troll name in there. So
is LeBron the GOAT still in the waiting room?
No, he said he wanted to come on, and then I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say so. Someone said something in there in the comments that I was saying that the Warriors weren't a dynasty. That I didn't say the Warriors weren't a dynasty. What I said is that you can challenge how great of a dynasty they were, how tested they were. Think about some of the teams they beat. Like I said, they were helped by Kawhi Leonard going down in 2017. James Harden folded up in 2018 with the Chris Paul injury. We think about the 2016 with KD and the Thunder choking away a 3-1 lead. So when you think about these things, even 2015 when they won, LeBron James was up 2-1, and he choked it up in that finals, losing an MVP to Andre Iguodala. So when you look at their team and the dynasty that they were, who did they really beat? Damian Lillard's Portland Trailblazers, James Harden's Rockets, an injured Kawhi Leonard Spurs. They didn't beat that many great teams, is what I'm saying, to win those titles. It wasn't like they were going against Dirk Nowitzki's Mavericks in their primes, Tim Duncan's prime San Antonio Spurs. They were going against each other. Steve Nash's Suns, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant's Lakers. These teams were all beating each other. When they talk about the 90s and the teams that Michael Jordan was beating in the finals, they were beating each other in the Western Conference, man. So I wasn't saying that the Warriors weren't a dynasty. I said that they were maybe not as great or unbeatable as the LeBron James fans want you to believe.
So as a Bay Area guy, you had that, what was that? The second caller was talking about that. I have to acknowledge that. I mean, technically they are a dynasty because they did win, but a lot of teams can, a lot of teams can point to tough breaks that may or may have changed the way that history talks about them. And when especially with the Warriors not beating Cleveland, there's a lot of things you can point at. But I immediately thought, man, I almost wish the Thunder had been there instead. But who knows?
Even though Durant went down, they still had the big three and they lost to Toronto. That's still
they did not.
Still,
they didn't. Clay got hurt in that series too, and Clay was already. I've never.
Oh, that is right. I did forget about that.
And
the Warriors were, like I said, they were a great team, and I'm not saying when the comments people said that, I said they weren't a dynasty. Yeah, they're a dynasty, absolutely, no doubt about it. But when you're talking about when they're talked about now, people make it seem as if they were unbeatable. The 2017 Warriors, I keep hearing, are the greatest team of all time. I do not believe that. I do not believe they're as tested as Larry Bird's Celtics were in the 80s, or even Magic Johnson's Lakers. When you think about the teams that the Celtics had to beat in the 80s, you mentioned the 86 Celtics earlier in the live stream, AOH. A lot of people consider them the greatest team of all time. One of the greatest teams of all time, but why is that thought of that way? Because they were going against teams like Dr. J's Moses Malone Sixers. They were going against a young Michael Jordan, upcoming Chicago Bulls. They were going against the Detroit Pistons. They were going against the Milwaukee Bucks. And they had to battle against the Los Angeles Lakers in the finals. They had to go against great teams, great competition, and they were able to beat these teams. That's why they're remembered as one of the great teams. The Warriors, can we say that they beat teams like the Sixers led by Dr. J and Moses Malone? Did they beat a team like the Detroit Pistons? Did they beat teams like this? I don't know if we can say that.
Let me clarify something that
Clay
you
played
said.
5 of 6 games, though, just for the record. Sorry. Good.
Curry was like on half injured too, and then they lost. Goddamn, who's the big man that they acquired briefly?
Bogut, the
No,
Australian, yeah.
no. That's in the past. He was already gone.
Who, McGee?
No.
Cousins.
Fucking Cousins. Jesus
Oh.
Christ, my brain. Yeah, Cousins. And he was hurt most of the time. Anyway, but Robin, you said 2017 was the best. Did you intentionally mean 2017 when Durant got there? Or did you mean 2016 because 2016 was a 73 win team, which is the reason a lot of people called that the best team. Do you mean 2017 or 2016?
Well, that's the thing. This exposes the LeBron James fans because one hand they'll try to say that LeBron James beat the 73 win Golden State
This is
Warriors
what
because
I'm-
they're the best team. But then they'll also say that the 2017 Warriors are the greatest team of all time because LeBron James couldn't beat them. This is what I'm saying. He's in a win-win situation.
Right. That's basically what I was getting at because of that argument. In fact, it was Draymond who, after he signed with Clutch Sports, said that, oh, he didn't beat the greatest team of all time, but LeBron did. Like literally complimenting the dude that beat him. But we all know that the Warriors with KD looked more unstoppable. But here, this is the second piece I wanted to add on. People are so upset about KD's move and how unfair it was for him to join that Warriors team. But they also simultaneously shit on KD all the time. And he's a bus rider and KD ain't all that and blah, blah, blah. Well, if KD ain't all that, why were people so upset about him going and joining the Warriors? It shouldn't LeBron James joining a team be what everybody gets upset about it being unfair? I don't think there would have been as strong of a reaction. Like, they were scared of KD at the time. At least,
the main thing with that is because he joined the 73 win team. In my opinion, they're the same. But people see KD joining a 73 win team, and I think they say it's more egregious than what LeBron did. Even though I don't agree, I think they're about the same.
But does he suck or not? Because is that egregious?
Definitely doesn't suck.
If he's just a bus rider, so who cares where he goes?
Right.
According to them.
Agreed.
And then the other thing, your first caller was talking about Shaq, and I was debating whether to edit a video on that today. I started it, but a lot of people have already torn him apart about it. But it sounds like some people haven't heard everything he's done. His insecurities, now that I've looked at some old clips, that dude's insecure on like 50% of the TNT broadcasts. I mean, that guy's got some real problems.
Exactly.
I still say this. The only way, because just his voice, the only way he has sports commentary is just the shock value that he brings. Because he's, I'm not saying I have the best voice in the world, but man, he is hard to listen to if you're just listening to him. Like it's like I don't know how
they were like rotating people there for a while, and I don't know how they got stuck on Shaq. I mean, I know he's kind of a character, but that's what Charles is there for, right? I'd like someone else who can bring a little bit more of like an analytical breakdown of the game,
Yeah,
maybe it is the shock value.
Yeah, and I mean he's like y'all are saying, he's got character, he's got personality, and he is entertaining, and that's why he's there. But if you just listen to him, I would not want to listen to him on an audio-only podcast.
Right, but as a commentator, yeah, exactly. Not so much.
Yeah, it's bad.
It sort of reminds me of LeBron in the way that he takes what he's saying very seriously and does it slowly. And it's really dumb shit coming out of his mouth. But he clearly thinks it's the best thing ever said.
Yeah. Do y'all have anything else you want to talk about, or you guys good to start wrapping this up?
Yeah, I'm ready to wrap it up, man.
Yeah, I gotta go see the ladies with the fam.
Yeah, I gotta call my mom too. It's, yeah, but yeah, thank you, live chat, for joining us, participating, the super chats. Again, if you've liked what we had to say, please subscribe to our channels and like our videos and put the notifications on, the whole nine. And just to bring it up again, if you all want to come and join the MJFB Summer Debate League, email me and I'll get you on the list, and you can be a part of it, with the grand prize being a championship belt, $200 value. No money down. It's just an opportunity to showcase your debate skills, and you have a prize at the end of it. But yeah, do y'all have anything, last words for the people? Nick?
Nope. Happy Mother's Day.
Robin, you got anything to say?
No, just shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Once again, you guys were amazing, man. Thank you for all the support for all of our channels, guys. Like I said, man, much respect again. Shout out to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day, man. You guys know the deal, man. You know what it's about, guys, man. Catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah, like Robin said, thanks for all the support and things y'all send us. That's awesome. It's really cool.
AOH, you got anything for the people?
That's it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Yep, and thanks again. And for everyone, Michael Jordan fans.